Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape Bangalore, and in this episode we will be looking at repotting the world famous hydrangea. This is a widely distributed plant that is mostly native to Asia and the Americas. There are several varieties of this plant, and the one that you see here is the mop-head hydrangea, which is named that way because of the size of these blooms that are even bigger than my hand and resembles the size of a mop. Some varieties of the hydrangea are quite cold tolerant, but maybe not this variety. So treat this as a warmth loving plant because it starts blooming during spring and throughout summer and even during the rainy months in India. This is moderately toxic. So the hydrangea flower head has two flowers, the tiny one that you see in the center and the larger sepals in the outer ring. And all this clustered together makes this big beautiful bouquet-like bloom. There is another big reason why this plant fascinates so many of us, and that is the blooms change color according to the pH level of the soil. The more acidic the soil is, the more blue the blooms would be. If you have alkaline soil, then pink blooms would be the end result. Now, there are many artificial ways of increasing or decreasing the pH. But I do not want to do all that, and I'm happy with my pink blooms. So if you want a blue bloom naturally, try adding lots of compost and other organic matter like coffee grounds, tea leaves, eggshells, etc. But you will not get these results quickly. The flower will take years to change colors. Once the flowers start fading, they lose their color anyway, so fussing over its color is not really required. Now, if you're not really bothered about the color change and you are just looking at growing hydrangeas in your garden, then let's first take a look at repotting this. So take an appropriately sized container depending on the size of your plant. The hydrangea can get bushy in no time, so repotting it once in a while when it gets too big for the pot is advisable. So cover the drainage holes as customary and add 30% sand, 40% compost, 20% coco peat and 10% garden soil. I'm using more compost here since the plant loves organic matter. Now remove the plant from the plastic cover and check the roots. If its roots are not root bound or pot bound, you don't have to tease the plant. You can add it as is. Now backfill up to the same topsoil level as before. I will be mulching it with some more compost to give it a good start at life in the garden. Now water the plant thoroughly and keep it in a semi-shaded place which gets bright indirect sunlight. So quickly, let me give you some tips on growing this plant in your garden. Tip 1. Sunlight. It likes partial sunlight and full sun will burn its leaves and the leaves will look yellow and not get this rich green look. So southwest and east exposure is fine. Tip 2. Watering. Now this plant is called hydrangea for another reason altogether, that its seed capsules look like water vessels. However, you and I as layman gardeners must associate this plant with water since this plant cannot take underwatering for even a day. The leaves will start drooping. So essentially during summer, water this every day, and during tropical winters also you may have to water this every day. But if you have a lot of clay or garden soil in your potting mix, then watch out on the watering bit because this in no way is a water plant, the hydra notwithstanding. Tip 3. Fertilizing. So the only mantra I can give you here is compost, compost and compost. The more you give it, the better it would bloom. Tip 4. This is largely pest resistant, but it can get some fungal diseases if there is a lot of overwatering. Neem oil pesticide can help. Tip 5. Pruning. Don't go all out with pruning. Just to be on the safer side, don't prune this plant for a maximum of 2 years. And if at all you're wondering why your plant is not blooming, then you must have pruned this plant wrongly and at the wrong time. So for more pruning lessons, you can watch this old video of mine by clicking the link above. I have tried propagating this plant with a stem cutting, but for some reason I'm not successful with it at all. But I will keep trying and will show you the results if any. So until then, you take care of your hydrangeas by showering some love along with some water. So with this, we have come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Bangalore, and I hope you've enjoyed this program. Additionally, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are given below. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again, a very warm goodbye.